Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. It's time to get up and get everything moving, man. Hey, listen, I don't know where y'all are watching from, but I need y'all to pop in here. This is going to be a great conversation. It's going to be challenging, thought provoking, and it's going to help some people out. More specifically, it's going to help the brothers out. Okay. Yesterday, I had a guest on, and we were talking for the preachers. It was really about the ministers, those in the pulpit, those who have been called to deliver a message. Well, today, guess what, brothers? I haven't missed you out. I decided to bring another brother who is pioneering the way, and I mean literally leading the way in making sure that there is a platform, there is an avenue addressing the concern of men. And so this is so good. I'm so looking forward to this conversation. So I see we got some people joining in. We got Jamal. Thank you very much for joining in. We got Vito. I got some brothers. Listen, tag some men and let them know. Check this out. Okay. Linda, thank you very much. Naomi, thank you very much. Lynette. Listen, people, share this right now, and especially for those of you in the Bahamas. This brother is doing something, and it's not only in Grand Bahamas that you could be blessed by the services of my good friend here, but anywhere in the Bahamas, possibly around the world, because we're so virtual now. I want to welcome to Effective Living, Bradley. What's going on?
Everything's good, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, listen, tell us a little bit about Mr. Hendfield himself.
Boy, um, Bradley is a little boy who grew up on the streets of Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock. For those that are not from the Bahamas, 8 Mile Rock is the largest settlement in the Bahamas,
Uh-huh.
in the very Bahamas. Of our 700 islands and keys, I grew up in the biggest settlement. And I've just decided to play with the cards that I've been dealt and make the
Yep,
best out
yep,
of Bradley's life.
yep,
It's still a work in progress.
yep,
I haven't arrived yet. I'm
yep,
working towards that.
yep,
Um, Bradley is a husband. Bradley is a father. Bradley's an author.
yep,
Bradley is a student.
yep,
Bradley is a believer.
yep,
The host of a movement called the Man Cave Experience,
yep,
and also the founder of a mentorship program for boys ages 12 to 18
yep,
called Eagles,
yep.
Men of Distinction, and an aspiring serial entrepreneur.
Yeah. Excellent, man. I didn't know 8 Mile Rock was the largest settlement in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I would have thought Auckland's would have had the largest settlement. Oh, I'm
Mm-mm.
just joking. I know there's no way. There's no way Auckland's have the largest. I'm from Auckland, so I just Pinefield, Auckland's. That's probably one of the smallest settlements in the Bahamas.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know how many people living in Auckland's right now, but I know Pinefield is definitely not one of the biggest. But I didn't know 8 Mile Rock was one of the largest or the largest settlement in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. We got a lot of people jumping in now on our conversation, and you're a popular guy because everybody's saying good morning. It's man cave morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna have to do this again because don't know, it ain't normal. We got guests come in and everybody just they know them. But you're an author. You've started this entity. You're doing entrepreneurial work. You're married. You're a family guy. You're a believer. This is all exceptional stuff. Your focus has been more specifically that on a big scale, working with men, working with young men. Why?
Because men are the neglected group. Men are the neglected group. We oftentimes see stuff going on for women. We have women's empowerment conferences happening all the time. Women financial stuff happening all the time. Stuff happening for the girls. You have the little princess programs, and
Yeah.
so the women are being prepared.
Hmm.
They're getting what they need, and I guess it's just a thing about men. Men are just nonchalant, and
Yeah.
we just do what we were taught, or I would even say taught, what we learned
Hmm.
from older guys. So
Yeah.
we learn on the job.
And a lot of guys ain't teaching the young men no more.
Exactly.
So a lot of guys have to observe. I mean, at least
Yes.
look. I know for me, I grew up in a single parent home. I was fortunate enough. I had two different type of examples in the neighborhood I grew up, and I was straight up thuggish. It was the gentleman who had the kids and his family, and those girls couldn't come outside the fence. You know, he he had his daughters. He was in the hood and he was taking care of his home. And his girls would sit on the porch, but they couldn't come out on the street. And we respected him and how he cleaned his car and took his family out to the beach on the weekend. He was a respected guy. And then we had the drug guys and the guys selling the
Right.
weed and the guys with the motorcycle and the guy. And early on, I was really more into the guys with the weed and the girls and the music and the so forth. But my eyes never not stop looking at the guy who kept his family within those fences, and
Right.
that was just really just family centered. And so one day I remembered, I want that. I want that. But as you mentioned, we would have had men who would have taught us. Most men don't get teach anything anymore.
Right.
And so it's interesting that you said though a lot of attention is given to the women. I know y'all ladies, if you're watching, do you agree with Bradley? Bradley's calling y'all out today because here's the deal. I mean, even United Nations has all kinds of aid towards women initiative, and obviously because women has been suppressed for a long time when it comes to leading and being in front, but they are not suppressed anymore. They're
Nope.
they're, they're given everything right now. And the brothers who used to be one time the foundation, the head, the whatever you want to call them from the view of leading,
Right.
has no longer taken their rightful position to at least come alongside the women and say, you know what,
Let's do this
this is
together.
y'all day, and we're going to make sure we hold the fort from a man's perspective, being solid man to a solid woman. In your opinion, man, these are challenging times, and so what is three of the most prevalent issues you see facing our brothers today?
I trying to pull up my notes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So one of the challenges I see facing men today, I have here is fear of rejection
Yeah.
and vulnerability.
Hold on,
Uh,
I'm gonna play with that a little bit. Fear of
oh man,
rejection and vulnerability. Lord Jesus, Bradley, you called me out, man. You called my brother out. Did y'all hear the voice? What fear of rejection and vulnerability? And let me tell you something. Sometimes there are a lot of brothers who ain't gonna step up to the plate because they're vulnerable and they're. Oh man, rejection is real, you know.
it
You know,
is.
I had to tell my son, I got an 18-year-old son, and he was talking to one girl. I said, brother, I said, listen, buddy. I said, listen, slow your roll. Just don't let this thing get to your head. You're young. And it was 16 at the time. He's trying to talk to us. I said, hey, because I had to sit him down and deal with. If she don't want to talk to you no more, you're gonna be all
Right.
right. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? If you got let go on the job, you're gonna be all right. If you know what I mean, your friends don't want to talk to you, you're gonna be all right. Rejection, man, that's a big one. Fear of rejection. And a lot of women don't even know brothers are dealing with that whole fear of rejection.
Right. Right.
Wow, wow, go
And
ahead.
a lot
I'm
of
gonna play
times,
with whatever you say, man,
a
because I
lot of
like this.
a lot of times we don't move forward in certain things because we don't want to be rejected.
Yeah, yeah, that's
We,
true.
we
Yeah,
would prefer to sit down and not do anything
yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to going and hearing a no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
hopefully you meet a progressive girl who could push that rejection aside and bring out the lion. And you
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Bring out that that's why a good woman could bring a man to the next level.
Yeah.
And the
Yes.
guy can already have it, but he really needs that because a lot of times these girls, you could be anything, but most boys, I remember being told, get your big head from around your eye. Listen, you little dumb, you stupid, you crazy. So when you meet a girl and you're whining and dining and you're sitting down and she said, "Oh man, what you want to do, man? I just want to chill." What you mean you just want to chill? I talking about where you trying to go in life. Oh man, listen, right now it's just me and you, girl. Listen, ride or die. It's just you and I. So now, brothers are struggling, but if you get a right woman on the side, you got these girls who will inspire, motivate, and push
Right.
you to go beyond that. That's some really cool stuff. However, that internal fight still is real, man. And
Yes.
then if a woman came from an environment where it was verbal abuse from a mother to a dad, and she calls out a dude again, that can deal with some insecurity stuff and some real
Yeah.
vulnerable stuff that most men haven't learned
Yeah.
to address either.
Yes. There are a lot of things that men go through, and we just
Yeah.
don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's go ahead. Let's give us some of those things. We got some women watching. We got some single women watching who needs to know. Watch how you all deal with these brothers, man, because brothers got stuff. You know, women will have conversations with each other. I'm glad you call it a man cave. Women will have conversations and they'll talk about, oh, I got this crazy feeling with my breasts. You know what I mean? You think I got some butt. I mean, women will talk, right?
yes.
Brothers, they don't even know. You should be able to have a good, healthy conversation with another brother or your brothers to make sure that, hey, listen, if you got issues going on in your body, you know what I'm saying? You got issues going on in your mind, you got issues going on, there's a support system. But talk about some of those issues, Bradley. You got to help us this morning.
Man, listen. We had group of fellas from the band cave. We had a social last night, and listen, Ricardo, we literally sat and talked for almost 4 hours.
Wow. Yep.
It was supposed to be a game night and a
Yep. Yep.
social.
Yep.
We didn't even remember that we had games to play.
Wow.
That's how engaging the
That's
conversation
healthy.
was, literally non-stop from
Wow.
6 p.m.
Yep.
to 9:45 p.m.
Wow. That's healthy.
We sat and we talked about a plethora of things. We talked about relationships.
Uh-huh.
We talked about gender roles in the
Yep.
relationship. We
Yep.
talked
Yep.
about divorce. We talked
Yep.
about um, other issues concerning marriage,
Yep.
communication,
Yep.
and that being one of the key elements because everything basically hinges on communication.
Y'all just talk to the brothers about who's shooting blank. I'm telling you, man, you got brothers who depressed. They shooting blank and they don't know what's going on.
But I mean that didn't come up in the conversation last night. But I mean, apart that was a session of Man Cave. I think
Yeah.
about 2 years ago. We
Okay.
talked about those sexual issues that men have
Yep.
and how it plays on our ego and our
Yep.
pride
Yep.
and you know it causes you to go into a shell.
Yep.
You don't know how to talk about it. You don't know what to say about it.
And
You don't
some
want to
women
go to
don't
the
know how
doctor.
what went wrong with my man. I have no clue. But they didn't realize the dude is going through challenges he don't know how to talk to them about.
Yes, and it was Harrison actually,
Yep.
the guest that who was going to be at the next band game. He was
Mm-hmm.
saying how you have a lot of things going on that men go through and women feel like men should be ready
Yep.
100% of the time.
Yep.
But there are issues men are stressed, men
Yep.
thinking
Yep.
about the deal that didn't go through and all
Yep.
kind of
Yep.
other
And that
issues.
affects a brother.
Yes, it's a mental thing. Even
Yeah.
though, they say, once a man sees a woman, he
Yeah.
ready to go. But
That
it's a
ain't true
mental
all the time.
thing. It's a
Yeah.
mental thing. Like Harrison said, you know that it working. You know it
Uh-huh.
working. You trying to figure out what's going on. You got to go in the bathroom. You say you go in the bathroom, pull up some porn, make sure you can
Yeah.
get
Yeah. You trying to
you can
figure
get
out
up.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But when you go back in the bedroom, then it's like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
But porn is it's another level of stimulation. So
Yep.
you will respond to that.
Wow.
But then when it's your significant other and you're trying to understand, you know, I had to
What's
have the
going on?
conversation with my wife the other day. It's like, it's not about you. It's nothing personal. If I'm unable to do that,
Yep.
there are things that affect
Yep.
that happening.
And,
Things
and,
that
and this
affect
is
that.
this is really good, man. I'm so glad you're able to be on this talk this morning because there are so many people, you know, just especially our brothers. You stand next to a good woman, and the women run circles around guys in a lot of sense because they've. I think for the most part, a lot of females have been raised different from us, a supportive, encouraging, and motivational sense. Even in the classroom, when you think about a smart girl versus a smart boy, uh,
Yes.
normally that girl, listen, the girl mind has a different kind of flow in the classroom. I have never met a girl in a class who was never able to just outright crush the boys. And it was just, there was no competition. So let's talk about this for a minute. the reality of it is, you meet this girl, you're the guy, she's the girl, but you've been taught you're the head, but you have not been equipped to be the head.
Right.
And she is more equipped to be progressive, but you're the male and you're not equipped to be progressive. You're just the male. But now you are skilled enough to attract her, but you're not skilled enough to progress her.
Right.
And so now she's saying, I think we need to go build some apartments. I think we need to start a business. You say, hey, woman, slow your roll, right? Let me pray about that. Let me get back to you, right?
She ready to go.
Talk to us about some of these challenges, man. Give us another one.
She ready to go. You want to go pray, and she ready. You'll buy the bait up.
Yeah.
Another thing I have here is acceptance.
Huh?
Acceptance. Being accepted for who you authentically are.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of us we have a mask
Yeah,
of
that's true.
and we present to people who we feel they need us to be.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
That's what we
That's
give
a
to
big
people.
one, man.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Listen, accepted. Let me tell you. The most people haven't been taught to be themselves. Most people haven't been taught to be themselves. Now, women have a tendency of at some point they ain't gonna fake it. They just, I've learned that the more mature and seasoned a woman becomes, the more she starts to learn. You know what? It's about me and mine. However, I've noticed, and you're right. Brothers have a tendency to run for a long time on this trying to fit in, acceptance. What if people think about me? My pride, shit. And then we have some women who will call you out. Why can't you be like Bradley? Why can't you look at the brother? He's open. He's willing to talk about anything. Why can't you be? Not realizing.
Crushing him. That's all you're doing. You putting him deeper in the hole in the pit. You're putting him deeper in the pit because in his mind he's thinking, I want to be the man that I was created to be. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So when you, especially if you have a female in your life and she tells you, why can't you be like someone? You just crushed him.
Wow. Yeah, you just crushed them.
Yeah,
Wow, that's so good.
That's a comment that you should never compare especially if you're married. You should never, even in a relationship, you shouldn't compare your significant other
Hold
to
on. Ladies,
somebody
y'all hear
else.
that? Don't compare your significant other
No,
with no
man.
other man. Go
No,
ahead, sir.
you can't do that. You can't do that because we are already struggling with our pride. We are already struggling with our egos. We are already struggling that you have discovered who you are.
Yep.
And we don't know how to get where we need to be. And most men, this is about the conversation last night, we don't talk.
Yep. Wow. Yeah,
So
talk. You're right.
we won't come out and say, well, I don't know how to navigate through this. I don't
Yeah.
know how to get to where I need to be.
Yeah.
So we sitting down and we're sitting in all of that. We're sitting and not knowing how to do it. You don't discover yourself and you run in circles around us. We're trying to see how we could be the best we could be in this situation. And then you come and you compare me to someone that you see making strides.
Yep.
Like, no, you what you trying to do to me?
And comparing for what you see, but still you ain't close enough to know the full story because you don't know their deficiency.
Exactly.
Even though you know my deficiency, you're not 100% sure of their deficiency because you may be complimenting that dude, but the reality, you get closer to that dude, he has a different deficiency that I may not have.
Exactly.
So be careful about comparison. Wow.
Yes.
Share with us. You got anything else you
my third challenge I have here is we faced with being the provider and the protector. And when we fall short of that, then we are seen as less than.
Wow.
Less than a man.
Ooh. Talk about that a little bit because my goodness, less than a man because you can't provide, can't protect.
Right.
One of the worst things you can do is slap a fella in the front of his girl. I mean, come on. If he don't raise his hands back, it's a problem, right? It's a problem.
You always try to defend me, but especially if it's relating to her. Like if somebody approaches her, in the wrong type of way, I'm coming on to her, whatever, and you just stand there, you do nothing, you say nothing. What happened to you?
What happened to you?
The fella rap, like you say, he slap you in front of your woman because you tried to say something to him for saying something to her.
Go. At least lose. At least try, right?
And so she's questioning now, especially if you're on the road. If you're not married and you're on the road you're talking about getting married, she's going to think about that. She's like, if something really does happen,
Yep.
then where does that leave me
Yep. Yep.
in this situation? But I think we've been conditioned to that being our primary function, being the protector and provider, and nothing is wrong with that. But I
Yep.
think we need to look at it from a different perspective. I think we need to become the man that we were created to be. And once we become the man that we were created to be, then everything else begins to fall into place.
Do you think, let me ask you this question. Do you think it has shifted? Because you know, a lot has changed, and some things we try to keep as a foundation that says that it'll never change. But do you think the roles, in the sense of change, where rather than the man is in front of the woman, they're co parenting, they're co leading, they're co existing? Do you believe we got even co pastors now?
Right.
Do you believe that's probably the future where we say, I'm not really the head of my wife, or he's not necessarily the head of me. What he is, though, and what I am, is we're both together a power force to reckon with, and because sometimes I think there are a lot of women, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong. There are a lot of women, they've been taught, let's just say on a scale to 1 to 10, from a development standpoint, from an understanding on progression and success and leading family and structure and everything. On a scale of 1 to 10, the girl is developed at an 8, and the guy is developed at a 4.
Right.
The guy's developed at a 4, and she's developed at an 8. However, he is skilled enough to get her in bed, but he's not skilled enough to build a life for her. So now he marries her, and she says, okay, really what she needed was a 10, but a 10 didn't capture her. A 4 captured her, and she's an 8. And so I know some ladies, y'all know I talk in sense. Y'all know this is 100. So now you married an 8, you're an 8, the lady, and the guy is a 4, and he has a 10 behavior in bed, but when it comes to, like you said, providing and protecting, he's far below what he needs to be. So now, even if he comes up in 5 years, 8 years, he could be a 7. That woman more than likely became a 9 inside of that window.
Right.
So still, she's somewhat looking down on him from a development standpoint. He is making 500 a week. She's making 800 a week. Some people say that shouldn't matter. Oh, Bradley, does it matter when a woman makes twice as much as a man? Does it matter?
Personally, I, I think that's an unfair question because my personal opinion of that is it shouldn't matter.
Right, exactly. That's true.
It shouldn't matter because if we're married, we're in this together.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter who is making more. I
Yep.
mean, of
Yep.
course, that's why I talking about providing, being the provider. We've been conditioned to think that okay, we're the provider and we have to be the one making more money than our significant other, than our
Yep.
wives.
Yep. Yep.
So when we fall short of that,
Yep.
we go into a depression. We have
Yep.
anxiety. We dealing with all
Yep.
kind of things
Men deal with
because we.
depression and anxiety. Women
Oh
don't
yeah,
do
man.
that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we
Huh?
we don't talk about it. I think a lot of guys, we that's one of the reasons why we have so much fellas going to the bar.
Yep.
So
Yep.
before I talk about it, I'll go sit down and drink.
They go to the club. They go drink. There you
Yeah,
go.
I prefer to do that, and I might joke around with it with my boys, and because I know chances
But
are all
truly,
of us going
that
through the
is
same thing.
depression. Yeah.
Chances
Yeah.
are all of us going through the same thing, so we could sit down and have drinks and laugh about it, and then I go home and I appear to be good.
Right. Wow. Wow.
So yeah, but I don't think it should matter who's making more.
Yep.
If we're in this together, then let's make what we do. What we get. Let's make it work.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you that it should matter. However, in some instances, when the tension in the house gets a little hot, when the tension in the house get a little hot, a woman could throw a low blow with saying that about the income level.
Right.
I mean, psychologically, that could mess with a dude, though.
Yeah, it does. It could. It does. It,
Okay. Yeah. Thank
it
you.
does. It does mess with him. It does
Yeah.
mess with him because like I say, we've been conditioned to believe that we're the head and
Yep.
we are the providers. So if she says something about that, that's going to crush a man.
Yep.
You
Yep.
that's another thing that makes you feel less than a man
Yep.
because I
Yep.
can't provide, and I think we need to come out of the box where we have these preconceived notions of what that is and what that
Yep.
looks like. Because I think it's unique for every couple.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's
It's
so
unique for
so
every
true.
couple. So I think you need to discover what that
Yep.
looks like for you and your
For you,
spouse.
totally.
And then
When you
y'all make
say,
y'all work that.
I like that. What you saying that? Let's talk about the characteristics of a real man, in your
Uh-huh.
opinion.
Um, I have a couple here.
Yeah, go for it.
The first one I have is he believes in God.
Yeah.
We have to believe in the higher power. He has faith.
Yep. Yep.
Because if you're going to go anywhere and accomplish anything in
Yep.
life, then you have to have faith. You have
Yep.
to see it
Yep.
before it manifests.
Yep.
He has to have vision. And the
Yep.
Bible talks about us writing the vision and making it plain.
Yep.
He is trustworthy, he's loyal, and he has integrity.
Yep.
And those are just some of the
Yep.
characteristics of a real man.
Say those again for me, for those who are writing down, because we got some people, they taking notes on you this morning. You have, man, listen, you helping people this morning, brother. You helping people. This is a different kind of conversation for me
Oh
this morning.
man.
I'm enjoying this.
Yes, he believes God. He
Yep.
has faith. He has vision,
Yep.
trustworthy, loyal, and integral.
Now let's look at those words just for a couple of minutes. The you know, I- it all of those you can become better at,
Yes.
or you can learn to have
Yes.
after a while. You may not have those initially, like vision. Some people just don't have a vision. I mean,
Right.
just and unfortunately, the dude, watch this. The brother looked good, but he ain't going nowhere. you know. And a lot of times the women don't ask that question. And if a guy grew up in an environment where he really just had some loose thoughts, yeah, one day I want to own some apartments, you see. One day I want to own, and that's not vision, that's just an idea, right?
Right.
And so moving towards developing oneself, I think is it's critical. But a lot of our guys, we need to have a stronger conversation for
Yeah.
the guys who know better. Saying better is going to help the community of men. That is. What do you think?
Right. I agree. I totally agree. We need to change the conversation. I got my car cleaned yesterday,
Yep, yep,
and all of the guys, the young guys that came around, they were 30.
yep.
And I was asking them, like, y'all have life insurance?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have those kind of conversations
Right.
with each
Yes.
other.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And one of the young men, he was like, I have life insurance, and I invest,
Yep.
I trade.
Yep.
And I'm looking at him like, where you from?
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because a young man at 30 years old thinking about buying a car,
Yep.
finding some gals, going out partying and having fun. So I was kind of surprised that he was this is his mindset.
Yep.
And the other two, one was like, no, I don't have life insurance. And the
Yep.
other, he said he thinks he could be certain that he does have life insurance, but
Yep.
he needs to go and talk to his agent. I'm like, listen, man, y'all need to get it together. I
Yep.
say,
Yep.
you're 30 now.
Yep. Yep.
Eventually, you're going to have a family. You want to have a family. So
Yep.
you need to have certain things in place for
Yep.
when you have, I think one of he said his thing is like $10,000. I'm like, that only could bury you, bro.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
just for the funeral.
Right.
And
Yes.
and a funeral is probably about $15,000.
Right.
So
Yes.
you
Yes.
still fall short five thousand
Especially how
dollars.
we try to do it in the Bahamas. Especially how we try to do it in the
Exactly.
Bahamas. Yeah.
Exactly. So you still short $5,000. So I'm like, man, you need to go and sit down and talk to your agent and see what your options are and make sure you get proper coverage. And that's one of the conversations we don't have as men. We don't talk about making sure that we are prepared
Yep.
for anything.
Yep. Yep.
I did the financial literacy seminar the other day, and some of
Yep.
the information that was shared, I was like, wow.
Wow. Yep. Yep. Man, I'm so grateful for you leading the way with this platform, man. Highly impressed. Been watching it for a while, and to be able to have you here this morning, it's really good. Let me ask you this: what, in your opinion, three common mistakes that just irritate you when it comes to looking at our brothers and how they're showing up? That has to change. Something has to be addressed in relation to them.
I think one of the things here I have, excuse me, is lack of proper planning.
Wow.
We need to learn how to plan properly,
Wow. Yeah.
and that's in every area of our lives.
Yep.
We concoct a plan when it comes to how we can get the girl,
Yep. Yep.
but that's
Yep.
about it. We stop right there. We just want to get her. We don't
That's
have
a
a plan
problem.
for what happens afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
Um,
you got the girl. Now what you gonna do?
so now you stuck. You stuck. She progressed, and then you stuck. You're trying to figure out, how we can make this work. So that's
Yep.
one thing. And then I have lack of self-respect, knowing our worth.
Yep.
A lot of men don't know their worth.
Wow.
So they just settle for whatever they can get.
Yep.
So that's one thing that we need to address, and then not owning your truth or your role in what happened in your lives. A
Wow.
lot of times we experience it, and it's not our fault. Some things that happen in our lives,
Yep.
but then we still have a role to play.
Wow.
Because for example, let's say that you were molested as a kid.
Yep.
That's not your fault,
Yep. Yep.
but you didn't say anything either.
Yeah, and you're gonna never. Most dudes I know ain't gonna never say nothing.
Exactly. But you have to own your part in it.
Yep,
Your part is not saying anything.
yep, yep,
So now you have all of that to deal with. You need to
yep.
find somebody to talk to, bro.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
You need to speak up about it. And
yeah.
and chances are
And
the
it's okay
brother,
to speak up about it.
right? Chances are the brother sitting on the side, you probably went through the same thing.
Right. A lot of fellas. Right. Yeah.
You know,
The
I
uh, the
go
pride
ahead.
factor there though. Probably the pride factor there.
Yeah, there's pride.
Yeah.
So we don't want to be looked at as weak, or
Yep.
we don't want people to judge us for what we've experienced. But
Yep.
like I said, it's not your fault that
Yep.
somebody decided to prey on you.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
not your fault. And
Yep.
things like that shape the way that we view the world.
Yep. Yep. And affect you raising your children, affect your marriage, affect your
Exactly.
relationship.
Exactly.
Sometimes how you deal with other people
Exactly.
on the job. You got so many different things. Product, man, that is so good. Owning your truth. The reality of it is, life is 10% of what happens to us, 90% of how we respond. The proper thing is to respond right. Get
Right.
the help necessary. What I've been teaching, Bradley, is that someone is assigned to help you. You're not alone. And all you got to know is the statement is true. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Right.
I believe your platform is a platform that serves as a teacher, serves as a community that helps guys to learn and embrace the reality that, you know what, this real, this 100. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, give us some more, please. I'm liking this, man.
What I wanted to interject in there, I saw this post just I think this morning. It says there are tons of female pedophiles who live unexposed because young boys taught that having sex is an achievement.
Woo-hoo, woo. Boy, that's strong right there. That is strong because here's the deal. You are correct. You are correct. Now you try to tap in. I almost refer to some childhood stuff back in the day. I'm ready to come clean because listen, she was 21 and I was 13, 14. And all the fellas on the blocks think he got stripes.
Right.
Because if she 22 and you 14, for a guy, that's a medal of honor.
Right.
And it's not being considered as a pedophile. It's being
Right.
considered as an honorable thing in some neighborhoods, in some cultures, and some thought. That is something else. Listen, you bring that up. We're on a social media platform right now. And I'm telling you, we were to talk about that on a national television program. Fellas would say, boy, listen, if that's my son or if that was me, boy, that's much respect. Look at that. That's the mindset of where brothers have gotten to where they believe, like you said, it's a badge of honor. Wow.
Right. It's so interesting though, because you teach boys that it's a badge of honor when it's an accomplishment when that happens. But if a male preys on a child, another male child, that's an issue.
Yep.
Why is there a double standard?
Yep.
That it's still a pedophile.
Yeah.
Male or female.
Hey, I was at a comedy club. I was at the Improv a couple of years back, and the guy said, I got a son and a daughter, and he said, I came home my son had this girl sitting on the sofa and he's kissing her up. And he's like, my man, right? And he's like, let me snap a shot, boy. Listen, you growing up. And he says, came home a week or so later, and his daughter's kissing a boy at the house. It's just like, you gonna say rape, okay? Just call the cops right now. Why in the world?
Wow.
Just like you said, double standard.
Wow. Yeah, we need to change that conversation. We need to have a conversation about that. And that we need to teach our boys that if anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, male or female,
Yep.
if somebody touches you inappropriately
Yep.
or says anything to you inappropriately, then you need to speak up about it.
Yep.
And we don't need to brush it under the rug just because it's a female.
Yep.
And we think that, it's an accomplishment for him.
Yep.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah. Bradley, I want to get your book now. I got to get your book because this brother, listen, y'all, I hope y'all are listening. He's going. I ain't never heard nobody brought out this stuff from a platform standpoint. We're going to have to do this again because we're running out of time, man. But give us, is there another thing that you would want to highlight?
It was only three things that I came up with. Other than
Yeah.
that, we need to sit down and have real conversations, like
Yeah.
men. It's time for us to sit down and have real life conversations
Yeah.
and share our experiences, man.
Yeah.
Because your the way that you navigated through what you've been through can help the next brother.
It sure can.
So we need to have those conversations so that we can get the help that we need.
Yeah. Listen, last thing, man. Listen, in your opinion, this is a sharp one. I know this could probably be a whole conversation, but why brothers ain't going to church, man? Why is it 10 to 1 in the church?
There's so many
I
answers to
know
that
it's
question.
some of the man cave conversation. Y'all be talking about it. I know you've heard.
That's there's so many answers to that question, but the one answer that I thought about when I saw the question was, men aren't attending church in big numbers because we have feminized the experience.
Wow.
I think we have feminized the experience, and because we have been conditioned to be macho and masculine,
Yep.
we turn away from the church.
Yep. Yep.
So I think we need to teach more of relationship,
Yep.
and that will grab men's attention.
Yep.
Once they learn about building that relationship with God, then the Spirit will draw them.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
We trying to fight this fight and pull men into the church, and that's not our job.
Yeah. Right.
The Holy Spirit should draw them.
The Holy
So
Spirit
we need to teach them about relationship.
Yeah.
How are you and God doing? What is
Yeah.
your relationship like?
Yeah.
And build that. And I think once they begin to build that, then they would want to be, come together and assemble with each other.
Wow. Bradley, tell us about your event. What do you have coming up?
The Man Cave Experience has coming up the Reset. And the Reset this year is focusing on mental health. We're looking at March 20th at 7 p.m. It's a virtual experience. And you can purchase tickets via Eventbrite, or you could go through our website. You'll see the flyer for the event. Just click on the flyer and it'll direct you directly to the site to purchase your ticket. And we decided to do mental health this year because there's been so much that has transpired over the past year and a half. Speaking specifically for us here in Grand Bahama, after a major hurricane, Dorian, and then we transitioned right into COVID. So outside of trying to find your way after Dorian, now you locked down. So,
wow.
and this was a part of the conversation last night, how we were talking about divorce and how divorce rates have gone up since the pandemic. Like you figure, you there's a space where, you should be yourself and whatever, but you have some fellas, they figuring out that I don't know my wife. I don't know this woman. She doesn't know me. I don't want to be around her.
Not that much based on the government telling me stay in the yard.
Right. I can't go nowhere.
Stay in the house.
So I can't go to the bar anymore. I can't go hang out with the boys anymore. I can't do any of those things. So now I'm forced to have to get to know this woman and build a relationship with her. Or my next option is to push out. I have to go. And for a lot of men, that we need to deal with the mental side of that, because now, men are dealing with a lot of things. Some lost their jobs. So you're in a space where I don't know how to make it now. So we want to deal with mental health this year. Some of the things, one of the things we're talking about, you won't see it on the flyer, but we're going to talk about transparency.
Yep.
And then we're talking about denial
Yep.
and the definition of strength
Yep.
for a man, and then
Yep.
value beyond finance.
Yep.
That comes back to the question we had earlier:
Yep.
one making more than the other.
Yeah. Value
One
beyond
making more than
finance,
the other.
man.
Yes, yes, yes. So that's what we're focusing on this year. So I'm looking forward to a lot of guys coming to be a part. I mean, man, I've in my experience over the past 4 years, bro, men have been the hardest group of people to get together.
I know to
To
break
get
through. Yep.
yes,
Yep.
like you need it. Like put your
Yep.
pride on the side, bro.
Well, that's because I think what we're talking about even is not an open conversation. It's not. It's very. It's what like the term you have, man cave. Okay, it's not to be. And every little man has their own little cave in a
Right,
sense.
right.
We don't flock well. When Bishop Jakes at the height of Woman Out Loose and Manpower, Woman Out Loose had 60,000 women in the Georgia Dome. Manpower had 10,000 at the Potter's House. It's just a whole different kind of deal when it comes to women showing up to address whatever they need and men showing up to get what they need. And you're doing a phenomenal job, man.
Thank you, man.
Once again, tell people how they can get a hold of you for your upcoming event. And I'll try my best, man, to do some promotion on this as well.
Thank you,
on
man. I
on a
appreciate
greater
it.
level on my side,
Thank
because
you.
I think this is so good.
You can find me on Facebook. We have a page on Facebook as well, the Man Cave Experience. I'm on Instagram, the Man Cave 242. On my personal page, Hen Bradley H 26. Just how it is here. Just I put the 26 behind it
Yeah.
for Instagram. You can follow those platforms. So everything will be channeled through there.
Yeah.
And then I do a Facebook Live on every other Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I'll be pushing some information through there as well
Excellent.
about the event.
Once again, give us the name of the event, the date of the event.
The reset, and it's interesting because the question is, you okay, King?
Yep.
Just
Wow.
trying
Yep.
to find out if our
Yep.
brothers are okay.
Understand.
Like
Yeah.
let's talk. Where
Yep.
are you?
Yep.
And it's March 20th at
Yep.
7 p.m.
Yep. And it's virtual.
Yes, it's virtual.
Good stuff, Bradley. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here on Effective Living, man. I got to bring this brother back. I'm going to ask him a question later on the next interview. Do real men cry? Okay, do real men cry? And tapping into that stuff it's just so good, so necessary. Keep up the phenomenal work you're doing, guys. If you haven't gotten prepared to go to church yet, go ahead. And go ahead and do some form of worship in building or online, be it as it may. Enjoy the presence of the Lord today. Connect with this platform. Connect with Bradley. If you're a man watching this, I highly suggest that you attend this event. It's going to be a difference maker in your life, and it's going to help you to see what you may have not seen before that can help you to go to the next level. Once again, thank you, Bradley. Blessings
Thank you
to
for
you.
having me. All right.